Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Easy English Talk. I'm Jason, your host, and with my co-host, Sarah. How's it going, Sarah?
Hi, Jason. Hi, everyone. I'm doing great, thanks. I'm excited to be here today to talk about a really popular topic, especially for those who are just starting their English speaking journey.
Absolutely. So, today's topic is all about improving English speaking skills. We know it can be a bit challenging, especially in the beginning. You might feel nervous, unsure, or even frustrated when trying to speak English. But don't worry. Learning to speak a new language takes time, and we're here to help you with that.
Yes, and speaking English is such an important skill. It opens up so many opportunities, from connecting with new people to exploring different cultures and even improving career prospects. But, Jason, we both know it's not always easy for beginners, right?
Exactly, Sarah. Sometimes learners feel like they need to be perfect right from the start. But that's not the case at all. Learning to speak English fluently is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Today, we'll share some really simple yet effective tips to help you build your confidence and improve your English speaking skills.
And remember, we're focusing on beginners today. So if you've been struggling with speaking English or feel a bit shy, this episode is for you. We'll be giving you practical tips, real examples, and easy techniques that you can start using today.
Exactly! And we're going to keep it relaxed, friendly, and most importantly, simple. There's no need to be perfect. Just focus on making progress. Think of it as a fun learning experience. So, whether you're practicing English at school, with friends, or even on your own, we want to help make that process easier.
So grab a pen and paper if you want to take notes or just sit back and listen. We're going to cover everything from daily speaking tips to some cool ways to practice pronunciation. By the end of this episode, you'll have a list of easy actions to help you on your journey to speaking English fluently.
All right, let's get started with our first tip. And remember, keep an open mind, stay patient, and most importantly, have fun with it. Let's make learning English a positive experience together.
Perfect, Jason. Let's dive in and help our listeners take their first big steps towards speaking English confidently.
So, before we jump into the tips, let's talk a bit about the challenges of speaking English as a beginner. Sarah, I know a lot of people feel nervous when they first start speaking English. Why do you think that is?
That's a great question, Jason. I think one big reason is fear of making mistakes. When people are learning a new language, they often worry about sounding silly or being judged, so they hold back. They might feel like their grammar isn't perfect or their pronunciation isn't clear.
Right. And that's totally normal. In fact, most of us feel that way when learning any new skill. It's like when you're learning to ride a bike. You're scared of falling, but once you start practicing, it gets easier and more fun. Speaking English is really similar.
Exactly. And another challenge is that people sometimes feel they need to know a lot of words before they can speak. But here's the good news. You don't need a huge vocabulary to start speaking. You just need a few basic phrases and a willingness to try.
Yes, and we want to remind everyone listening that it's okay to start small. You don't have to be fluent from day one. Even native speakers make mistakes. What's most important is getting comfortable with speaking, even if it's just a few words at a time.
That's such good advice, Jason. So, if you're listening and you've been hesitant to speak English because of these reasons, know that you're not alone. Everyone feels this way at first, but with a little practice and a positive attitude, you'll improve.
Absolutely. Today's tips will focus on building confidence and taking small steps. So, let's get started and make speaking English feel natural and enjoyable. All right, let's dive into our first tip. Practice speaking regularly. Sarah, why is this so important for beginners?
Great question, Jason. Speaking a new language, like English, is a lot like building muscle. You have to exercise it regularly to see improvement. The more you speak, the more natural it starts to feel. And don't worry, you don't need a conversation partner every time. Even practicing on your own can help a lot.
Exactly. So, if you're listening and wondering where to start, try speaking out loud every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. You could talk about your day, describe what you see around you, or even practice introducing yourself in English.
Yes, and one fun way to practice on your own is by talking in front of a mirror. Look at yourself while you speak. It helps build confidence and gives you a chance to work on your expressions. It might feel a little strange at first, but it's a great way to get used to hearing your own voice in English.
Good point, Sarah. And if you're feeling brave, try recording yourself. This might sound a bit intimidating, but recording lets you hear how you sound and see where you might want to improve. Plus, you can track your progress over time, which is really motivating.
Absolutely. And remember, there's no need to aim for perfection. Just focus on making small improvements. Even if you're only able to practice a few words or sentences each day, that's a big step in the right direction.
Exactly, Sarah. So, for everyone listening, the takeaway here is to make speaking a daily habit. Start small, be consistent, and most importantly, have fun with it. The more you speak, the easier it will become. All right, moving on to our next tip. Focus on pronunciation and clarity. Sarah, why do you think pronunciation is so important for beginners?
Good question, Jason. Pronunciation is important because it helps people understand you more easily. You don't need a perfect accent, but clear pronunciation makes your English sound natural and helps avoid misunderstandings.
Exactly. So, if you're listening and worried about your accent, don't be. What matters most is that you're speaking clearly. One great way to practice this is to slow down when you talk. Take your time and focus on each word. It's better to speak slowly and clearly than too fast.
That's so true, Jason. And here's a simple exercise. Choose a few common words you use every day and practice saying them slowly. You can even look up their pronunciation online or in a dictionary. Listening to the sounds can really help.
Good idea, Sarah. Another tip is to work on difficult sounds. For example, in English, some people struggle with the teeth sound. Try practicing it slowly and repeating it until it feels comfortable. You don't have to get it perfect, just close enough that people can understand you.
Yes, and remember, Jason, it's okay to ask people if they understood you. Practicing with a friend or a language partner helps you get feedback and feel more confident.
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, focus on clarity over speed and work on one sound at a time. Little by little, you'll see improvement in your pronunciation and your overall confidence. All right, next up is learning useful phrases and vocabulary. Sarah, why do you think focusing on phrases is helpful for beginners?
Great question, Jason. Learning full phrases instead of just individual words makes it easier to start conversations right away. When you know a few basic phrases, you're already prepared for real-life situations, like saying hello, introducing yourself, or asking for help.
Exactly, Sarah. For example, you can start with phrases like, "How are you?" or "Could you help me?" These are simple but powerful. They give you confidence because they're commonly used in everyday conversations. You don't need a huge vocabulary to communicate well.
That's right, Jason. And another tip is to learn phrases that are connected to your daily routine. If you're a student, you might want phrases like, "I'm studying for an exam," or "Can you explain this to me?" These are practical and easy to remember because you'll actually use them.
Good point, Sarah. Also, using simple vocabulary with these phrases can help you build more complex sentences later. Start with the basics, and once you're comfortable, you can add more words to your sentences. It's all about taking small steps.
Yes, so for anyone listening, focus on useful phrases that fit your life. The more you practice these, the more natural they'll feel. And soon you'll be able to expand your vocabulary without feeling overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And remember, you don't need to know every word in English to speak it well. Just a few phrases can go a long way. All right, let's move on to our next tip: practicing with friends or language partners. Sarah, how can practicing with others help beginners improve their English?
That's a great question, Jason. Practicing with a friend or partner is one of the best ways to learn because it makes speaking more natural. You're not just repeating words or memorizing grammar, you're having real conversations. And that's how language is meant to be used.
Exactly, Sarah. And the great thing is, you don't need a native English speaker to practice with. You can even practice with friends who are also learning. The idea is to get comfortable using English in everyday situations, like sharing stories or talking about your day.
Yes. Plus, practicing with others gives you feedback. For example, if you mispronounce a word, your partner can correct you. Or you can help each other remember vocabulary. It's a team effort, and it makes learning more enjoyable and less stressful.
I completely agree. And for anyone who doesn't have a practice partner, don't worry. There are online language exchange apps where you can find people who want to practice English too. It's a great way to make friends and improve your skills at the same time.
That's right. So, to everyone listening, find someone to practice with. Whether it's a friend, a classmate, or even an online partner, you'll see big improvements in your speaking confidence and fluency.
Absolutely. Language is all about communication, so practicing with others makes the experience real and rewarding. All right, our final tip is a fun one: using media to improve your listening and speaking. Sarah, how can watching shows, listening to podcasts, or even music help beginners with English?
Great question, Jason. Media like movies, songs, and podcasts give you a natural, real-life way to experience English. You get to hear how native speakers use words, phrases, and expressions, and that can really help you with both listening and speaking.
Exactly. Plus, it makes learning more enjoyable. Watching your favorite TV show or listening to a song you love keeps you motivated. You can try repeating what you hear, even if it's just one line or phrase. It's a great way to practice pronunciation and get comfortable with how English sounds.
Yes, and for beginners, I'd suggest starting with content that has subtitles. This way, you can read along while listening, which helps you understand the words and phrases better. Try watching short videos or listening to beginner-friendly podcasts, something that doesn't feel overwhelming.
Good idea, Sarah. Another fun exercise is singing along to songs. It's a simple way to practice pronunciation, rhythm, and even new vocabulary. And don't worry if you don't get every word right. It's all about enjoying the process.
Exactly. So, for everyone listening, explore English media that you enjoy. It's a fun way to improve, and it makes learning feel less like a chore.
That's right. Using media is a great way to bring English into your daily life. Just pick something you like and let it become part of your learning journey. All right, we've covered a lot of tips today. Let's go over a quick summary so you can remember these key takeaways for improving your English speaking.
Great idea, Jason. So first, we talked about practicing speaking regularly. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're alone or with someone. Just make it a daily habit, even if you're only talking to yourself in the mirror.
Exactly. Then we discussed focusing on pronunciation and clarity. Start by speaking slowly and working on sounds that are tricky for you. Clear communication is more important than speaking fast or having a perfect accent.
Right. After that, we mentioned learning useful phrases and vocabulary. Stick to phrases that are practical and relevant to your daily life. This helps you start speaking naturally and confidently.
And don't forget to practice with friends or language partners. Practicing with others builds your confidence and lets you get feedback, which helps you improve even faster.
Lastly, use media like TV shows, songs, or podcasts to improve your listening and speaking. It's a fun way to get used to how English sounds, and it lets you practice at your own pace.
Exactly. So, for everyone listening, pick one or two of these tips to start with, and remember to be patient with yourself. Learning to speak English takes time, but every small step you take is progress.
Absolutely. Just enjoy the journey, keep practicing, and you'll get there.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you found these tips helpful. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Easy English Talk channel. I'm Jason, and today I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Jason. Hello to everyone listening. We're so happy you're here with us today. You're in for a great episode, especially if you're looking to improve your English skills. Today, we're talking about something that can really make a big difference in your English-speaking journey: confidence.
Exactly. And confidence is so important. You know, it's common to feel nervous or even a bit scared when speaking English, especially if it's not your first language. But we're here to tell you, you're not alone, and it's completely normal to feel that way.
Absolutely. A lot of beginners struggle with confidence. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if someone doesn't understand me? But here's a secret. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes, and they're not worried about it.
That's a great point, Julia. Speaking confidently isn't about being perfect. It's about expressing yourself and trying your best. In this episode, we're going to share some simple tips to help you build confidence so you can speak English without fear.
Yes, by the end of this episode, you'll have tools and tips you can start using right away to feel more comfortable speaking English. We'll be talking about why confidence is so important, some easy ways to practice speaking confidently, and how to focus on progress instead of perfection.
And remember, confidence is a skill, just like any other skill in language learning. It can be developed over time. Even if you feel shy or nervous now, with practice, you can grow to feel comfortable and confident.
So true, Jason. And we're here to make it easier for you. We'll keep everything simple and clear so you can follow along, and we're excited to share tips that have helped many learners like you become more confident speakers.
So grab a notebook, relax, and let's get started with how to build your confidence in English. You ready, Julia?
Ready, let's go.
All right. Let's start by talking about why confidence is so important in speaking English. So, Julia, why do you think confidence matters?
Great question, Jason. Confidence is really like the key that unlocks our ability to communicate. When we're confident, we're more relaxed, we think more clearly, and we're willing to try, even if we're not perfect.
Exactly. And speaking any language is about connecting with others. When you feel confident, you can focus on expressing your thoughts and ideas instead of worrying about every little mistake.
That's so true. But of course, it's normal to feel nervous. Many beginners feel scared of making mistakes or sounding strange. They worry, what if I say something wrong? But really, making mistakes is a natural part of learning. It's how we improve.
Right. Imagine learning to ride a bike. At first, you might fall, but each time you get up, you're a bit better. The same goes for English. Confidence helps you get back up and keep going, even if you stumble.
And here's something to remember. When you're confident, people listen to what you're saying, not how perfect your English is. Most people appreciate when you're making an effort, no matter your level.
That's a great point, Julia. So, confidence isn't just about speaking well, it's about being willing to speak at all. And we're here to help you build that confidence so you can enjoy using English in real-life situations.
Yes, confidence is what makes learning fun and exciting. And remember, it's a journey. Each step you take, you're building that confidence little by little.
Now, let's dive into some practical tips for building confidence in speaking English. These are simple things you can do every day to feel more comfortable speaking.
Yes. Let's start with our first tip. Practice with simple sentences. You don't have to start with long or complicated conversations. Start small. Try using English in everyday situations like ordering food or saying, "Hello, how are you?" to a friend.
Great tip, Julia. Starting small takes away the pressure. Here's our second tip. Record yourself speaking. It may feel a bit strange at first, but recording yourself helps you hear how you sound. You can listen and notice what you want to improve, and you'll also see that you're doing better than you thought.
That's a fantastic idea, Jason. Our third tip is to surround yourself with English content. Try listening to English podcasts, watching movies, or reading short articles. When you hear English regularly, it becomes more familiar, and you start feeling more confident about using it.
Absolutely. And for our fourth tip, here's something simple but powerful. Use positive self-talk. Say things like, "I can do this," or "I'm getting better every day." Remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes, and that learning is a journey.
Yes, these small habits can make a big difference. With each tip, you're building a stronger foundation for confident English speaking.
Exactly, Julia. Practice these tips, and over time, you'll notice that speaking English feels easier and more natural. Let's talk about our first tip in more detail. Practicing with simple sentences and daily conversations. Julia, why do you think starting simple is so helpful?
That's a great question, Jason. Starting with simple sentences helps take away the fear of speaking. If we try to use complex words or long sentences right away, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But when we use short, simple sentences, it feels more manageable. Plus, these are the sentences we use in real life every day.
Exactly. Imagine saying things like, "Good morning, how are you?" Or, "I'd like a coffee, please." These phrases might seem small, but they build your confidence and get you comfortable speaking English in real situations.
Yes, and here's a tip. You can even practice these sentences when you're alone. For example, you could describe what you're doing out loud, like, "I am cooking dinner" or "I am studying." It's a small way to get used to speaking English, and it helps you form sentences naturally.
That's so true. And once you're comfortable with short sentences, you can start combining them. For example, instead of just saying, "I'm reading," you could add details like, "I'm reading a great book about history."
Perfect. And if you have a friend or family member who speaks English even a little bit, try having short conversations with them. Or if you don't, try talking to yourself in English, practicing these small exchanges.
Exactly, Julia. Remember, each simple sentence is a step forward in becoming a more confident English speaker. Over time, these small steps lead to big progress. Our next tip is to record yourself speaking and listen back. Now, Julia, this might sound a little intimidating to some people, right?
Definitely, Jason. Listening to your own voice can feel a bit strange at first, but it's actually one of the best ways to improve. When you record yourself, you can hear what you're doing well and notice any areas you want to work on.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything long. You could record yourself saying a few sentences about your day or something simple like describing your favorite food. Even just a few sentences can give you insights into your pronunciation and flow.
That's a great point, Jason. And here's a tip. Don't be too hard on yourself when you listen back. Remember, this is just practice. Think of it as a tool to help you, not something to judge yourself with.
Yes, try to listen for small improvements each time, like clearer pronunciation or a more natural rhythm. You might also notice things you didn't realize, like words you repeat often or areas where you pause.
And over time, you'll likely see that you're making progress, even if it's small. Each recording builds confidence, showing that you're capable of improving.
Exactly, Julia. So, give it a try. It's a simple but powerful way to build your English-speaking confidence. Our next tip is all about immersion. Surround yourself with English content. So, Julia, how does listening to English every day help build confidence?
Well, Jason, when we listen to English regularly, it starts to feel more familiar, like a part of our daily lives. Hearing the language through videos, podcasts, or even music makes English less intimidating and helps us pick up new words and phrases naturally. Exactly. Plus, the more you listen, the more you'll understand common expressions, sentence structures, and pronunciation. You'll start recognizing words you can use in your own conversations, which boosts confidence.
Absolutely. And there are so many options out there, so you can choose what interests you. For example, if you love cooking, try watching English cooking videos. If you're interested in travel, find travel podcasts in English. The idea is to make English a fun part of your routine. Yes, and here's a tip. Try listening to English while doing daily activities, like commuting or exercising. It doesn't have to be a formal study session, just enjoy it like you would in your native language.
Great advice, Jason. So, to everyone listening, find some English content you enjoy and make it part of your day. Over time, you'll feel more comfortable and confident with English.
Now, let's talk about something powerful but often overlooked: using affirmations and positive self-talk. Julia, how can this help build confidence in speaking English?
Great question, Jason. Positive self-talk is about telling yourself encouraging things like, I can do this, or I'm improving every day. It may sound simple, but these words make a big difference in how we feel and approach learning English.
Absolutely. When we focus on positive thoughts, we start feeling more confident and less afraid of mistakes. For example, instead of thinking, I'm so bad at this, try saying, I'm still learning, and that's okay. This small shift in mindset helps a lot.
Yes? Another helpful idea is to use affirmations. Think of short positive phrases like, I am becoming a better English speaker, or every day my English improves. Say these affirmations out loud, maybe in front of a mirror, and repeat them regularly.
That's a great tip, Julia. Affirmations remind us that progress takes time, and that it's okay to be a beginner. When you're kind to yourself, you'll enjoy the learning process more and feel braver about speaking.
Exactly, Jason. So to all our listeners, try using positive self-talk and affirmations. They're simple tools, but they can really boost your confidence and help you feel proud of every step forward.
All right, now let's dive into a really important point: practicing speaking without worrying about mistakes. Julia, I think this is one of the biggest challenges for beginner English learners, don't you?
Absolutely, Jason. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes because they think it makes them look less skilled. But here's the truth. Making mistakes is actually a good thing. It means you're trying, and trying is the only way to improve.
Exactly. When we're too focused on perfection, we hold ourselves back. But if you focus on communication instead, it takes away a lot of the pressure. People aren't usually paying attention to small errors. They care more about understanding what you're saying.
Yes, think about it this way. Even native English speakers make mistakes. They might forget a word or stumble over a sentence, but they just keep going. You can do the same. Don't let fear of mistakes stop you from speaking.
And here's a helpful tip. Remind yourself that each mistake is a lesson. Instead of thinking, "Oh no, I made a mistake," think, "Great, I learned something new." This mindset turns mistakes into stepping stones on your path to improvement.
That's perfect, Jason. So to all our listeners, let go of that fear. Speak up, make those mistakes, and learn from them. Remember, confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to try.
Exactly, Julia. So be brave, and remember that each time you speak, you're building your confidence, mistakes, and all. Now, let's talk about setting small goals and celebrating progress. Julia, how can setting small goals help beginner English learners?
Great question, Jason. Small goals are powerful because they're easier to reach, which keeps us motivated. If you set a big goal like, "I want to be fluent," it can feel overwhelming. But if you break it down like, "I want to learn 5 new words this week," it feels manageable, and you can celebrate each small success.
Exactly. When you achieve a small goal, like learning a few new phrases or speaking English for 5 minutes a day, you feel proud. And this confidence builds up over time. Each small goal brings you closer to your bigger goal without all the stress.
That's so true, and celebrating progress is just as important. Take a moment to feel good about what you've achieved, no matter how small it seems. Maybe you understood a sentence in an English video, or you had a short conversation in English. Those are all wins worth celebrating.
I agree, Julia. Here's a tip for everyone. Keep a journal of your English learning journey. Write down each goal and note when you accomplish it. It's motivating to look back and see how far you've come.
Great idea, Jason. It's a reminder that learning is a journey and every step counts. Celebrating progress keeps your confidence high and makes the process more enjoyable.
So, to all our listeners, start setting small, achievable goals and celebrate each win. You'll be surprised at how much progress you make over time. Well, we've covered some fantastic tips today on how to speak English confidently. Julia, it's been so great sharing these ideas with everyone.
Absolutely, Jason. Just to recap for everyone, we talked about why confidence matters and shared some simple ways to build it, like practicing with short sentences, recording yourself, surrounding yourself with English content, using positive self-talk, not worrying about mistakes, and setting small goals.
Exactly. And remember, building confidence is a journey. It's okay if it takes time. Every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to speaking English comfortably and confidently.
That's so true, Jason. And to all our listeners, we want to remind you to be kind to yourselves. Learning a new language is challenging, but every time you try, you're making progress. Celebrate each little success, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're just part of the process.
Yes. And don't forget, confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about feeling comfortable expressing yourself. Even if you stumble, you're doing something amazing by learning a new language.
So keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. We're so proud of you for taking this journey to improve your English. You've got this.
And remember, we're here to support you every step of the way. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to check out more of our episodes for more tips and encouragement.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone, and keep speaking confidently. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Easy English Talk channel. I'm Jason, your host, and today we're diving into an important topic: why English is important. Whether you're a beginner or just polishing up your skills, understanding the value of English can give you that extra motivation to keep going. Joining me today is our co-host, Julia.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, everyone. Yes, this is a fantastic topic. English is one of the most widely spoken languages globally, and it has so many practical uses in our everyday lives. We're here to talk about why this language is essential and how it can truly open up new opportunities for anyone willing to learn.
Let's start with a big one. Communication. English is often referred to as the global language because it's used widely across countries as a common language, especially in international travel, business, and online communication. Think about it. Being able to speak English can connect you with people from other cultures and help you share ideas with a larger community. Julia, don't you think this also helps us understand each other better?
Absolutely, Jason. English allows people from different cultures to communicate more effectively, which promotes understanding and cooperation. And this is important for so many situations: international conferences, social media interactions, even just making friends while traveling. Imagine visiting a country where English isn't the native language. You'll often still find English speakers around to help. It's such a powerful tool for building connections.
Another important reason is that English has become the Latvians language of business and technology. In many industries, knowing English is essential to advancing in your career. Companies from around the world operate in English, especially multinational companies. It's also the language of the Internet. Most websites, apps, and resources are primarily available in English, so having a good understanding of it gives you access to more information.
That's a great point, Jason. And let's not forget that many technical and professional courses are taught in English. This includes science, medicine, engineering, and even humanities. If you want to study or work in these fields, especially at an international level, English is usually a requirement. It's like having the key to a whole new world of knowledge.
Yes, exactly. And there's also the entertainment factor. Movies, music, books, and so much more. English is the main language of popular culture. Watching movies, listening to music, and reading books in English lets you understand these works in their original form, which can be incredibly rewarding.
And here's something else. Learning English can actually improve your confidence. As you become more fluent, you start feeling more comfortable in various settings, like meetings, interviews, and social gatherings. And it's not just about feeling confident in English-speaking situations. You also gain confidence in your overall ability to learn, which can encourage you to take on new challenges.
That's so true, Julia. And for those who are just starting, remember that learning English is a journey. You don't have to be perfect right away. Each small step you take opens up more opportunities and gives you a stronger sense of belonging in a global community. So, what would you say, Julia, is one of the best ways to start if someone feels nervous?
Great question. If you're new to learning English, I'd say start with what you enjoy. Find English versions of your favorite songs, watch a few episodes of a show with English subtitles, or even follow some easy English tutorials online. And remember, practice makes perfect. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's part of learning.
I love that advice. All right, to wrap things up, English is important for so many reasons. It connects us globally, opens up career and educational opportunities, provides access to entertainment, and boosts our confidence. So keep going, take small steps, and enjoy the process.
Exactly! Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope this episode gave you some inspiration to keep learning English. Remember, the journey might seem long, but the benefits are worth it.
Now, let's get a little deeper into how English can affect your stuttered personal growth. Julia, I think learning any language teaches you a lot about patience and discipline. But with English especially, you also gain a more global perspective because so much of the world's information is published in English.
That's so true, Jason. Learning English opens you up to ideas from different countries and cultures. For example, reading an English newspaper or following English news channels can help you stay informed about global events, social issues, and even innovations in science and technology. When you understand English, it's like you're never left out of important conversations happening in the world.
Yes, and this brings us to another crucial point. Learning English builds your problem-solving skills. As a learner, you're constantly figuring out how to form sentences, choose the right words, and understand different accents and dialects. This process is like a mental workout, training your brain to think creatively and solve problems in real time.
Exactly, Jason. Plus, using English requires you to think on your feet, especially in conversations. You're challenged to keep up, understand, and respond in real time, which can boost your mental agility. This skill carries over into other areas of life, helping you think more quickly and clearly in other languages too.
And let's talk about another side of learning English. Traveling. English is often the language used for tourist information, maps, and directions, and it's commonly understood in airports, hotels, and other travel hubs. Knowing English can make traveling so much easier and more enjoyable, don't you think, Julia?
Absolutely, Jason. Whether you're exploring historic sites in Europe, visiting natural wonders in Asia, or experiencing city life in North America, you'll find English guides, signs, and tour options nearly everywhere. English can make you feel more independent when you travel, since you won't have to rely on others for translations.
Yes. And speaking of independence, learning English can also help you find better job opportunities abroad. English is the working language of many global industries, and a good level of English proficiency can set you apart from other job candidates. Many companies look for employees who can communicate in English because it makes international collaboration easier.
That's a great point, Jason. Being fluent in English can help you land a better job, especially in fields like hospitality, tourism, technology, and finance. Companies value employees who can bridge language gaps and work with clients or teams from different countries.
And it's not just limited to traditional jobs. Many online jobs and freelancing opportunities require English skills too. If you're into digital work, English is practically essential because most of the instructions, guidelines, and communications will be in English. Freelancers who know English often get more work options and can communicate with clients from all over the world.
Yes, and think of how empowering it is to work remotely from your home country while connecting with clients globally. English makes it possible to build a career from anywhere. It's like having the freedom to create your own path.
Exactly, Julia. Finally, let's touch on the Madardihu academic benefits. English opens doors to studying abroad. Many universities in English-speaking countries offer scholarships and programs specifically for international students. And if you're able to study in English, the options are almost limitless.
That's right, Jason. If you're dreaming of studying at a university in the UK, the US, Canada, or Australia, English is essential. Even in non-English speaking countries, top universities often have programs in English, so you get access to world-class education.
And beyond that, Julia, if you're a researcher or a student, a lot of the top academic journals and scientific papers are published in English. Learning English can give you access to these resources and allow you to stay up to date with the latest research in your field.
Yes, and having this access means you're better equipped to contribute new ideas to your field. It's amazing how English can help students, researchers, and professionals stay informed and make a difference in their areas of expertise.
So, to everyone listening, remember that learning English is more than just picking up a new language. It's an investment in your future, a tool that gives you access to more experiences, and a skill that can genuinely enrich your life.
Exactly, Jason. And as you keep learning, remember that every bit of progress brings you closer to achieving those big goals. So, stay motivated, keep practicing, and don't let small challenges stop you. With each step, you're building a valuable skill that will open many doors.
Thanks, Julia, for joining me on this deep dive into why English is so important. We hope today's discussion has inspired you, our listeners, to keep pushing forward with your English journey. And remember, everyone, learning a language is a journey, not a race. So take it one step at a time and enjoy the process.
Thank you, Jason, and thanks to all our listeners. Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember that every word you learn brings you closer to new opportunities.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and discussions on learning English. Until next time, stay motivated and keep learning. Hello, and welcome to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host. And today, we're diving into a topic that so many English learners struggle with: the fear of speaking English. If you've ever felt nervous, embarrassed, or even completely stuck when trying to speak English, you are not alone. And guess what? We're here to help.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Julia, your co-host, and I know that speaking English can feel scary at times. Maybe you're afraid of making mistakes, or you think others will judge you. But today, we're going to talk about why this happens and how you can overcome it. Trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll feel a lot more confident about speaking English.
That's right, Julia. In this episode, we'll explore why people feel afraid to speak English, the fear of making mistakes and being judged, how to build confidence and speak more naturally, simple exercises to practice speaking without fear. So if you've ever hesitated to speak English in public, in class, or even with friends, stay with us. This episode is for you.
Absolutely. And remember, we're here to support you, so don't be too hard on yourself. Everyone learns at their own pace, and the key is to keep going. All right, Jason, shall we start with why so many people feel afraid to speak English?
Let's do it. Let's talk about where this fear comes from and why it's so common. So, Julia, let's dive into it. Why do you think so many people feel afraid to speak English?
Well, Jason, I think the biggest reason is fear of making mistakes. A lot of English learners worry that if they say something wrong, people will laugh at them or think they're not smart, and that fear can stop them from even trying.
That's so true. But here's the thing. Making mistakes is part of learning. Think about how babies learn their first language. They don't worry about grammar or pronunciation. They just try, and little by little, they improve.
Exactly. But unfortunately, many adults feel pressure to be perfect. They think, I need to speak English without mistakes before I talk to people, but that's impossible. Even native speakers make mistakes.
Right. And another big reason people feel afraid is lack of confidence. If someone hasn't practiced speaking much, They might think, I can't do it. My English isn't good enough.
Yes, and that lack of confidence can make them avoid speaking situations. They might stay silent in class, avoid talking to native speakers, or even feel nervous when ordering food in English.
Yeah, I've heard this from so many learners. And here's something interesting. Some people understand English really well, but they're too scared to speak. Have you ever met someone like that, Julia?
Oh, all the time. Many students can read and listen in English perfectly, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. It's like their brain knows the words, but their mouth won't say them.
Ha ha, yes. And, another reason people feel afraid is the fear of being judged. They think native speakers or other learners will criticize their accent or grammar.
But the truth is, most people don't care. When I hear someone speaking a second language, I don't think, oh, they made a mistake. I think, wow, they're learning a new language. That's amazing.
Exactly. And most native speakers actually appreciate when someone tries to speak English. They don't expect you to be perfect. They just want to understand you.
So true, but I know overcoming that fear isn't easy. That's why we're going to talk about practical tips to help our listeners feel more comfortable speaking English.
Yes. Let's start with one of the biggest fears, the fear of making mistakes, and how to overcome it. So, Julia, let's talk about something that stops so many people from speaking English, the fear of making mistakes. Why do you think people are so scared of this?
Well, Jason, I think it comes from school. Many of us were taught that making mistakes is bad. If you made a mistake in a test, you lost points. If you made a mistake in class, sometimes the teacher or other students corrected you in a way that felt embarrassing.
That's so true. A lot of people believe that if they make a mistake, others will laugh at them or think they're not smart. But actually, mistakes are a natural part of learning. Have you ever made funny mistakes while learning a new language, Julia?
Oh, definitely. When I was learning Spanish, I once said embarazada because I thought it meant embarrassed, but actually it means pregnant. I was so embarrassed, but guess what? I never forgot that word again.
Haha, that's a great example. And that's the thing, mistakes actually help us learn. When we make a mistake, our brain remembers it, and we improve.
Exactly. But Jason, I know some learners might still feel shy. They might think, what if people judge me? What would you say to them?
I would say this: most people don't care about your mistakes. They just want to understand you. Think about when you hear someone speaking your language with mistakes. Do you judge them, or do you appreciate their effort?
Right. Most people actually respect and admire you for trying. And here's something important. Even native speakers make mistakes.
Yes, native speakers sometimes forget words, use the wrong grammar, or mispronounce things. But they keep talking anyway. That's the difference. Instead of being afraid of mistakes, they just move on.
So true. And here's a great tip for our listeners. Instead of thinking, oh no, I made a mistake, think great. I learned something new.
I love that. Learning a language is like learning to ride a bike. You'll fall a few times, but every time you get up, you get better and stronger.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, don't let the fear of mistakes stop you. Every mistake is a step forward.
Well said, Julia. Now let's move on to another big fear, the fear of being judged by others. All right, Julia, let's talk about something that really holds people back, the fear of being judged by others. So many English learners are afraid to speak because they think people will laugh at them or criticize their mistakes. Have you ever felt this way when learning a new language?
Oh, absolutely. When I first started learning French, I was so nervous to speak because I thought native speakers would judge me. But you know what I realized? Most people don't judge you. They just appreciate that you're trying.
That's so true. But many learners still worry about this. Maybe they're afraid their accent sounds funny or their grammar isn't perfect. But let's ask this. When you hear someone speaking English with an accent, do you judge them?
Of course not. I actually admire them. Speaking a second language takes courage, and accents show that you're learning something new.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. Even native English speakers have different accents. Someone from the US sounds different from someone from the UK or Australia. So having an accent is totally normal.
Right. And I think a big reason people fear judgment is because they compare themselves to others. Maybe they hear someone speaking fluently and think, I'll never sound like that. But the truth is, everyone learns at their own pace.
Yes, instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to your past self. Are you better than you were 6 months ago? 1 year ago? If yes, that's all that matters.
That's a great mindset. And here's another tip. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to judge you.
Haha, that's so true. We often worry, what will they think of me? But in reality, most people aren't even paying attention to your mistakes.
Exactly. And even if someone corrects you, it's not a bad thing. They're just trying to help. The best way to improve is to keep speaking and learning from feedback.
Absolutely. So, to our listeners, don't let the fear of judgment stop you. Speak with confidence. Most people will respect and support you, and the more you practice, the better you'll get.
Well said, Jason. Now let's talk about how to build confidence so our listeners can speak English without fear.
So, Julia, we've talked about the fears that stop people from speaking English. Fear of making mistakes and fear of being judged. Now, let's focus on something really important, how to build confidence in speaking English.
Yes, confidence is key. If you believe in yourself, you'll speak more, learn more, and improve faster. But Jason, I know a lot of people struggle with this. So, what's the first step to building confidence?
Well, I think the first step is practice, practice, practice. The more you speak, the more comfortable you become. It's like riding a bike. You might feel shaky at first, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
That's so true. And you don't always need a partner to practice. You can talk to yourself in English, describe your day, practice common phrases, or even record yourself speaking.
Yes, recording yourself is a great way to track your progress. When you listen to your old recordings, you'll realize how much you've improved, and that will boost your confidence.
I love that. Another great tip is to start with small conversations. You don't have to give a big speech right away. Just try simple things, like ordering food in English or asking a question at a store.
Exactly. Start small, and as you get comfortable, challenge yourself to speak more. And here's another trick, fake confidence. Even if you're nervous, act confident. Stand tall, speak clearly, and smile.
Oh, I love that. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, and the more you pretend to be confident, the more natural it becomes.
Absolutely. And don't forget, surround yourself with English. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, and read books in English. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more confident you'll feel.
Yes, and here's one last tip: celebrate your progress. Every time you have a conversation, even a short one, be proud of yourself. Every small step is a big achievement.
That's right. So to everyone listening, don't wait until you feel ready. Start speaking today. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Well said, Jason. Now let's talk about another big challenge: how to practice speaking English when you don't have a partner.
So, Julia, we've talked about building confidence, but there's something even deeper that affects how well people speak English, their mindset. How we think about learning makes a huge difference.
Yes, absolutely. If you have a negative mindset like, I'll never be good at English or I always make mistakes, you'll feel stuck. But if you have a positive mindset like, I'm improving every day or mistakes help me learn, you'll feel more confident and motivated.
That's so true. Many learners focus too much on what they can't do instead of what they can do. But here's the truth. Learning English is a journey, not a race. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going.
Yes, and there's a famous concept called the growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that with effort and practice, they can improve. But people with a fixed mindset think that their skills are stuck and they can't change.
I love that. So, if someone listening feels like they're not good at English, they need to change that thought. Instead of saying, I'm not good at English, say, I'm getting better every day.
Yes, the words we say to ourselves are powerful. If you say I'm too shy to speak, you'll believe it. But if you say, I'm learning to be more confident, your brain will start to believe that too.
That's a great point. And another thing, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at a different speed. The important thing is that you're learning and improving.
Exactly. And one more tip, celebrate small wins. If you had a short conversation in English today, be proud of yourself. If you learned a new word, celebrate that every small step matters.
That's so true. So, to everyone listening, believe in yourself, think positively, and keep going. Your mindset is your greatest tool for success.
Well said, Jason. Now let's talk about the final and most important part, taking action and speaking without fear.
All right, Julia, we've talked about mindset, confidence, and overcoming fear. But now, let's give our listeners something practical, real exercises they can do to reduce their fear of speaking English.
Yes, because confidence doesn't just appear, you have to build it with practice. So, Jason, what's the first exercise?
Well, one simple exercise is mirror speaking. Stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself in English. It could be a short introduction, your daily routine, or even just describing how you feel.
I love that speaking in front of a mirror helps you see yourself speaking, which makes you more comfortable. Plus, it helps with pronunciation and body language.
Exactly. And here's another one, shadowing. This means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say right after them. You can do this with a podcast, movie, or YouTube video.
Yes, shadowing helps you sound more natural because you're copying real pronunciation and rhythm. And it's great because you don't have to create sentences. You just repeat.
Right. Another great exercise is recording yourself. Pick a topic, speak for 1 or 2 minutes, and then listen to your recording. At first, it might feel strange, but over time, you'll see your progress.
That's such a great way to track improvement. And if you're feeling really brave, you can send your recording to a friend or teacher for feedback.
Yes, and here's one more. Question and answer practice. Write down common questions in English, then practice answering them. You can even use voice assistants like Siri or Google Assistant to talk with you.
Oh, that's a great idea. And for those who don't have a partner, they can also think in English. Throughout the day, try describing things in your mind in English instead of your native language.
Exactly. So, to our listeners, pick 1 or 2 of these exercises and start today. The more you practice, the less fear you'll feel.
Well said, Jason. Now, let's wrap up with our final section, a motivational message for our listeners.
Wow, Julia, what a great conversation today. We've talked about why people feel afraid to speak English, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of being judged, how to build confidence, the power of mindset, and practical exercises to reduce fear.
Yes, Jason. And the most important message we want to share is don't let fear stop you. Everyone makes mistakes, but mistakes are part of learning. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, start today. Pick one of the exercises we talked about and practice speaking English every day. Even small steps will lead to big progress.
And if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe and follow us for more English learning tips. Also, share this episode with a friend who is learning English. It might help them too.
That's right. And we'd love to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge in speaking English? Leave a comment or message us with your thoughts.
Thank you for joining us today. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, you can do this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Personal Growth Talks podcast, where we discuss tips and strategies to help you grow, thrive, and become the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Jason, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Julia. Julia, how are you feeling today?
Hi, Jason. I'm feeling fantastic, and I'm so excited about today's episode. It's such an important topic, especially as we approach the new year. It's the perfect time for reflection, growth, and setting our sights on becoming the best version of ourselves in 2025.
Exactly. In today's episode, we're going to dive into practical ways to identify where you are right now, set powerful goals for the new year, build positive habits, and overcome challenges that might hold you back. By the end of this podcast, you'll have actionable steps to start your journey toward personal transformation.
That's right, Jason. Whether you're someone who's just beginning your personal growth journey or you've been working on yourself for years, there's always room to grow and improve. 2025 can truly be your breakthrough year.
So, grab a notebook, settle in, and let's get started. Let's kick things off by talking about where it all begins. Understanding yourself and identifying your starting point. All right, Julia, before we can talk about setting goals and building habits, let's start with the most important step. Figuring out where you are right now. Why do you think self-awareness is so crucial for personal growth?
It's absolutely essential, Jason. If you don't know your starting point, how can you map out the journey to where you want to be? Self-awareness helps you understand your strengths, weaknesses, and the areas in your life that need improvement. It's like the foundation of a house. Without it, nothing else can stand strong.
That's a great analogy. One way to start is by asking yourself some honest questions. For example, what are my biggest strengths? What am I proud of achieving this year? What are the habits or patterns holding me back? Reflecting on these questions can give you a clear picture of where you're at.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to dig deep. It might even help to write your answers in a journal or talk them through with someone you trust. Another useful tool is feedback. Ask your friends, family, or colleagues for their perspective. Sometimes others can see things about us that we might overlook.
That's so true. And once you've identified your strengths, you can use them to your advantage. At the same time, recognizing your weaknesses isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about finding opportunities for growth.
Yes, and one thing to remember is to be kind to yourself during this process. Personal growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Accepting yourself as you are today is the first step to becoming who you want to be tomorrow.
Absolutely, Julia. So to everyone listening, take some time to reflect on your starting point. Write down your thoughts, be honest with yourself, and get ready to take that first step toward growth. Coming up next, we'll talk about setting clear and actionable goals for 2025. Now that you've identified where you are, the next step is to figure out where you want to go. Julia, when it comes to setting goals, why is it so important to be intentional?
Great question, Jason. Setting intentional goals gives your life direction. Without clear goals, it's like driving without a destination. You're just wandering aimlessly. Goals give you something to strive for and keep you focused, especially when things get tough.
Absolutely. But it's not just about setting any goals, it's about setting the right goals. One of the best methods is using the SMART framework. That means your goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Julia, can you break that down for us?
Of course. Let's start with specific. Instead of saying, I want to get better at English, say, I want to improve my English vocabulary by learning 10 new words every week. Being clear about what you want makes it easier to take action.
Right. And measurable means tracking your progress. For example, you can test yourself weekly on those 10 new words to see how well you've retained them. What about achievable?
This one's so important. Your goals should stretch you, but they also need to be realistic. If you've never run a mile, setting a goal to run a marathon next month might be too much. Start with something manageable, like running a 5K in 3 months.
Great point. Next is relevant, which is all about making sure your goals align with your bigger life vision. For instance, if your dream is to travel, improving your English or saving money for a trip would be highly relevant goals.
And finally, time-bound. This means setting a deadline. Saying, I want to save $1,000 by June is much more effective than just saying, I want to save money. Deadlines keep you accountable.
Exactly, and let's not forget the importance of writing your goals down. Studies have shown that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them. It's a simple step that makes a big difference.
Yes. And another tip is to break big goals into smaller, manageable steps. For example, if your goal is to lose 20 pounds in 2025, start with a goal to lose 2 pounds a month. Small wins build momentum.
That's so true, Julia. So to everyone listening, take some time to set your SMART goals for 2025. Write them down, make them actionable, and most importantly, make sure they inspire you. Up next, we'll talk about building the habits you need to achieve those goals. All right, we've identified where you are and set some exciting goals for 2025. But goals are just the destination. Habits are the engine that gets you there. Julia, why are habits so powerful in personal growth?
Great question, Jason. Habits are the small actions we do consistently, and they have a compounding effect over time. Think of it like planting seeds. One habit might not seem like much today, but over a year, it can grow into something life-changing. The best part? Good habits make success almost automatic.
That's a great way to put it. So let's talk about how to build these habits. One of the best strategies I've found is to start small. If you want to read more, don't aim to finish a book a week right away. Start with reading for just 5 minutes a day.
Exactly. Starting small not only makes the habit more manageable, but it also helps you build confidence. Once that habit feels easy, you can gradually increase the effort. Another tip is to tie your new habit to an existing one. This is called habit stacking. For example, if you want to meditate daily, do it right after brushing your teeth in the morning.
That's a fantastic idea, Julia. I also think environment plays a big role. If your environment makes it easier to stick to a habit, you're more likely to succeed. For instance, if your goal is to eat healthier, keep fresh fruits and vegetables in plain sight and avoid buying junk food.
Yes, setting up your environment is a game changer. And let's not forget about tracking progress. Whether it's using an app or simply checking off a habit tracker, seeing your streak can be super motivating. It's like giving yourself a small reward every day.
Speaking of rewards, celebrating small wins is crucial. Even something as simple as saying, "Great job," to yourself can reinforce the habit. But on the flip side, Julia, what about breaking bad habits? Any tips there?
Absolutely. The key to breaking bad habits is replacing them with better ones. For example, if you tend to scroll through your phone in bed, replace that with reading a book or listening to a relaxing podcast. And, like with building habits, make the bad habit harder to do by adjusting your environment. Maybe keep your phone in another room at night.
That's such practical advice. And one more thing, be patient with yourself. Building habits takes time, and it's okay to slip up occasionally. What matters is getting back on track and staying consistent in the long run.
Exactly, Jason. So, to everyone listening, pick one habit to start today. Remember, small actions done consistently can lead to massive results. Up next, we'll tackle something we all face: how to overcome challenges and setbacks on your journey.
So, Julia, we've talked about setting goals and building habits, but let's face it, life doesn't always go according to plan. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable. How do you think people should approach these obstacles?
That's such an important topic, Jason. Challenges are a natural part of growth, and instead of seeing them as roadblocks, we need to view them as opportunities to learn and grow stronger. The key is to stay resilient and flexible when things don't go as planned.
Absolutely. One of the first steps is to reframe your mindset. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? That small shift can turn frustration into motivation.
That's a great point. Another important strategy is to break big challenges into smaller, manageable pieces. For example, if you're overwhelmed by a big project at work, focus on completing just the first step. Sometimes, taking that one small action can make the rest feel less intimidating.
Yes, and I'd add that leaning on a support system is crucial. Whether it's friends, family, or a mentor, talking about your challenges can give you fresh perspectives and encouragement. You don't have to face everything alone.
Exactly. And let's not forget self-care. When we're stressed or overwhelmed, it's easy to neglect our well-being, but that's when we need it most. Simple things like getting enough sleep, eating well, and taking breaks can make a huge difference in how we handle challenges.
That's so true. I also think it's important to celebrate progress, even when it's small. For example, if you're learning a new skill and hit a plateau, remind yourself how far you've come instead of focusing on how far you still have to go.
Yes. And another tip is to keep your why in mind. Remembering the bigger purpose behind your goals can help you push through tough times. For instance, if you're working hard to improve your English, think about how it will open up new opportunities for you in the future.
Exactly, Julia. And sometimes it's okay to step back and take a break. Challenges can feel overwhelming if you try to push through without rest. Taking a moment to recharge can give you the clarity and energy you need to tackle them more effectively.
Absolutely. And to everyone listening, remember, challenges are part of the journey. They don't define your progress unless you let them stop you. Every time you overcome a challenge, you become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself.
Well said, Julia. So if you're facing challenges, take a deep breath, reframe your mindset, and take one small step forward. Coming up next, we'll discuss how to stay consistent and motivated throughout the year. We've covered a lot so far: setting goals, building habits, and overcoming challenges. But here's the big question, Julia. How do you stay consistent and motivated over the long haul?
That's the golden question, Jason. Consistency is what transforms goals into results, but it's not always easy to stay motivated every single day, especially when life gets busy. A great starting point is to focus on your why. When you have a clear reason behind your actions, it's easier to keep going even when motivation dips.
That's such a good reminder. Another helpful tip is to create a routine. When something becomes part of your daily or weekly schedule, it requires less effort to stick with it. For example, if you want to work out, pick a specific time each day, like 7 a.m. after your coffee.
Absolutely. Routines are powerful because they take the decision-making out of the equation. And speaking of decisions, simplifying your environment can help too. For instance, if you're trying to learn English, set up a specific space where you study and keep all your resources handy. That way, you're not wasting time searching for things.
Great point, Julia. And I think rewards are another big motivator. Celebrating small milestones along the way can keep you excited about the journey. Let's say you've completed a month of consistent practice. You could treat yourself to something special, like a fun activity or a small gift.
Yes, rewards work wonders. But Jason, what about those days when motivation is just nowhere to be found? How can people push through those tough days?
On those days, it's important to rely on discipline rather than motivation. Motivation is like a spark. It gets you started, but discipline is what keeps the fire burning. Even if you don't feel like doing the full task, try doing just a little. For example, if you're too tired for a full workout, do a 5-minute stretch instead.
I love that, Jason. And another thing that helps is having an accountability partner. When someone is checking in on your progress or cheering you on, it's much harder to give up. This could be a friend, a coach, or even an online community.
That's such a good idea. And let's not forget the importance of positive self-talk. Instead of saying, "I'll never be fluent in English," say, "I'm improving step by step, and I'll get there." How you talk to yourself can either motivate you or discourage you.
Exactly. And one last tip. Be flexible. Life isn't perfect, and sometimes things won't go as planned. If you miss a day or two, don't let guilt hold you back. Just refocus and get back on track. Consistency doesn't mean being perfect. It means showing up more often than not.
Well said, Julia. So to all our listeners, consistency and motivation are like two sides of a coin. Build routines, celebrate wins, and stay kind to yourself along the way. Coming up, we'll wrap up with some final tips on becoming the best version of yourself in 2025. All right, Julia, we've had an amazing conversation today. Before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with some actionable tips they can start using right away to become the best version of themselves in 2025. What's your first tip?
My first tip is simple. Take one small action today. Don't wait for the perfect moment or a new year to start working on your goals. It could be writing down your goals, reading one page of a book, or even just drinking an extra glass of water for your health.
That's a great one, Julia. My tip is to reflect regularly. Spend a few minutes at the end of each day or week reviewing your progress. Ask yourself what went well, what didn't, and what you can improve. Reflection helps you stay focused and adjust your approach when needed.
I love that, Jason. My second tip is to surround yourself with positivity. This could be inspirational books, podcasts, or people who motivate you to grow. Remember, your environment has a huge impact on your mindset and actions.
Absolutely. And here's my final tip. Be patient with yourself. Growth is a journey, not a sprint. Celebrate every step forward, no matter how small it feels. Consistency and kindness to yourself are the keys to lasting change.
Well said, Jason. So, to everyone listening, take these tips and start applying them one step at a time. The best version of yourself isn't created overnight. It's built through small, consistent actions over time.
Exactly. And remember, 2025 is your year to shine. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this podcast with anyone who might need a little extra motivation.
Yes, and let us know in the comments what action you're taking today to start your journey. Until next time, stay positive and keep growing.
Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We truly hope this episode has inspired you to take meaningful steps toward becoming the best version of yourself in 2025.
Remember, growth doesn't happen all at once. It's a journey of small, consistent actions. Every step you take brings you closer to your goals, so don't be afraid to start today.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who might benefit from these tips.
And we'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're doing to improve yourself this year? Let us know in the comments below. We're here to cheer you on.
That's all for today. Stay motivated, keep learning, and remember, you have what it takes to make 2025 your best year yet.
Take care, and we'll see you next time on the Personal Growth Talks